Good morning. The Committee on Parole is convening. Are we at CALCASIEU Correctional Center? It's 8:39 a.m. Today is June 4th, 2026. Are they still on mute? Okay. Oh, can you hear us? We can't hear you.
Y'all hear us now?
Oh, there you are. Now I can hear you. Sir, would you the officer, would you introduce yourself for the record?
I'm Deputy Rosenbaum.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Deputy Rosenbaum.
Okay, Deputy Rosenbaum, thanks for accommodating us this morning. And is this Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Johnson.
Good morning.
Would you introduce yourself, tell us your name and your DOC number?
Hello, how y'all doing? My name is Christopher Jerome Johnson, and my DOC number is 570894.
Sorry, and you have some paperwork there with you?
Yes, I have the Louisiana Parole Board, parole revocation questionnaire.
Is that your signature at the bottom of that page?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. Thank you, sir. The information contained in that document that you signed tells us you're not eligible for us to appoint you a lawyer today. Are you prepared to proceed without a lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So your case is assigned to me, so we'll just jump right in. I'm going to read the allegations against you, after which you'll have to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, and we'll talk about it after. Okay? So you're accused of violating the conditions of your parole. Condition number 4, it states you engaged in new criminal conduct that led to your arrest on or about March 26, 2026 by the Lake Charles Police Department and charged with domestic abuse battery, a misdemeanor. This charge is still under review at the 14th Judicial District Attorney's Office. The victim did sign an affidavit, and then the charges were refused by the District Attorney's Office. So how do you plead to violating condition number 4 about you engaging in criminal conduct?
I plead not guilty.
Okay. And then the last one has to do with your fees. It says that's condition number 10. It says you failed to pay monthly supervision fees. You're currently in arrears or behind $449. How do you plead to that violation?
I also plead not guilty.
Not guilty. Okay, so tell us what happened that led to your arrest.
On March 26th, my Aunt Joanne, she had sent me a screenshot and a text message of my ex Jamie, and she had sent me a text message saying that Miss Jamie was she was kind of worried about Jamie, about she had sent a picture of her with a butcher's knife and telling me that Jamie was trying to harm herself again, and she was kind of worried about asking me if I could be able to help her out or whatever. Also, I had talked to Jamie's kids, and kids wanted me to help her out. So I had called Miss Jamie, and Miss Jamie asked me if I can help her.
So what did you do?
Ma'am?
So what did you do?
I waited for her at Opelousas Street on that's that's between, well, off of Highway 14 of 171 by the KPC Hall. And a friend dropped her off the first time. Well, whenever she got dropped off the first time, she was kind of drinking and stuff like that. So I don't deal with the drinking. I changed my life on everything. So I dropped her back at her friend's house. And that's whenever she was like, she was gonna take some pills or do whatever, and she was gonna go to sleep. Like she told me, like, I don't know, she was gonna she'll go to sleep forever or whatever. Well, my sister-in-law, she owned a car wash, and we kind of trying to do business together because I'm filing for disability because I have a brain injury. So I went to the car wash, I called us kids, and the kids asked me if I could be able to help again, was like kind of crying and stuff like that because we was kind of, felt bad about Jamie. Well, her kids sent me the pictures, and I sent the pictures to Jamie, and Jamie called. Whenever Jamie called, I couldn't really hear her. She was kind of slurry. So whenever she was slurry, I sent her the pictures, and that's whenever I drove back to Jamie. Whenever I drove back to Jamie, Jamie was in Mr. Wesley's truck. And whenever I approached the truck, she had a cigarette that was all the way down to a butt in one hand and a phone in another. The phone in the other one. And an empty pill bottle on the floor. I told Jamie to get in the truck and went to Briscoe. Whenever we went to Briscoe, whenever she realized she was at the substance abuse treatment, she kicked open my door and she jumped out my truck. I stopped the truck and I parked the truck and jumped out the truck behind her. I tried to stay like a minimum of like 15 feet behind her because I kind of know how she kind of get. So I called the paramedics and 911. And that's whenever from Briscoe treatment, like it kind of took us like around 10, 15 minutes. In the process. So whenever the 911 and the paramedics surrounded her, that's whenever I called my angel Ann because she the one who sent me the pictures. And I kind of, whenever I'm kind of trying to explain myself, I'm like this right here. Like I really can't talk like straight. So I let my angel Ann try to talk to him,
Yeah, yeah. So let me ask you this. So I do see in the record that you called 911 for help because you thought she may have been suicidal. And then I have in the police statement that says when the police did arrive that she admitted that you had battered her on multiple occasions. She never previously reported. How would you respond to that?
I was kind of shocked. At first, like whenever the police came and detained me, it kind of threw me for a loop because I didn't know what was going on.
We're just trying to help her, huh? So let me tell you, Mr. Johnson, before we continue with our questions, we do have Jamie Gardner on Zoom. I'd like to hear from her at this time. Ms. Gardner, what would you like to tell us?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to apologize, for everybody's time. This has been a horrible experience, to say the least, because of my own actions. Okay, so how this all started, Chris and we had broke up for about 3 weeks. Reason being was because I was going through some personal issues and I was not handling them well. I was drinking a lot. I was taking my medicine more than it was prescribed. And I did have, unfortunately, I did have suicide attempts within me and Chris's relationship, which he is the one who saved me. Basically, he's the one who found me and called the cops and, all that. Well, whenever he had seen that I wasn't handling things well again, he told me that he didn't want that around him, and that's why we had broke up.
Right, so what happened in March 26th? What happened that day? That's all I'm interested in.
Yeah. So that day, the night before, I had sent a text message, a picture to Chris and his aunt. It was of one of my medicines crushed up in a bottle of liquor and a knife, and I was indicating that I was going to hurt myself again. So the next morning, Chris had called me. That day, it's kind of, I don't remember all of it. I only remember bits and pieces. Reason being, I hadn't been sleeping. Once again, I had took a bunch of sleeping medicine. I had been drinking. So I only remember bits and pieces of it. I know I called.
So my question of you, I don't need to know all the details, but did he lay his hands on you? Did he strike you?
Chris has never hit me. If anything, he's just tried to help me. I know, like I said, I don't remember anything. I don't even remember telling the police, I don't remember telling the police that he hit me. All I remember is being real angry at Chris because he did try to bring me to a rehab and I didn't want to go.
Okay. I get it. I understand. We're gonna let me step back and see if my colleagues have any questions of you.
Okay.
Were you drinking that night or you had taken some medication?
Sir?
Were you drinking that night?
I was drinking that night and I had been drinking that day, which I had told the police too. I told them that I took sleeping medicine and that I was drinking and that I was really tired. The alcohol and the medicine had started, and the sleep deprivation, it had all started kicking in at one time. And I guess that's why I don't remember everything and
Thank you so much.
Well, you need to understand that you see the consequences of all of this. So,
Yes, ma'am.
mental health issues is no different from any other physical issue in your body. And you have medicine. A lot of people can't get medicine and stuff. So, when you don't take your medicine right, other people suffer. You're going to suffer, but other people suffer. And if everything that you're saying here is true, this is the outline of something like that. So you were caught, you were able to get help, and that's, thank goodness for that. But if everything, was there ever a case where he battered you in any way?
No, ma'am, not in any type of way.
You ever call the police on him for that?
No, ma'am.
No.
No.
All right, take your medicine.
As you're like to. All right, Mr. Johnson. Is there anything else you'd like us to know before we vote? I think we're prepared to vote.
No.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and vote, Mr. Johnson. I don't find any evidence to support that a battery occurred. The charges were refused by the district attorney. My vote today is do not revoke and return you back to supervision. Mr. Tillis,
Do not revoke.
Mrs. Stapleton.
Do not revoke and be very cautious with this lady because you see that if she has an episode, this could happen to you again.
Mr. Johnson, I'm going to add a special condition of your parole that you are to have no contact whatsoever with Jamie Gardner. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
If she calls you, you have no contact, not even on the phone. Don't answer the call.
Um,
Because you indicated in the beginning she was your ex. Is that still the case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, where is Mr. Gordon? We're ready for Mr. Gordon. I don't know where they are. Mr. Gordon, are you in that room? Miss Jennifer, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, they're going to get Donovan. I know you're waiting on him, but we're gonna take another case first while they're going to get him. We just wanted you to know that's what the holdup is. We're waiting on him.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, good morning. We are now at St. Landry Parish Correctional Center. It's June 4th, 2026, and we have before us Mr. Troy Shelvin. Good morning, sir. I think you're on mute still.
No, good morning.
There you are. Would you tell us your name and your DOC number, please?
Troy Shelvin, 293155.
Yes, sir. Do you have any paperwork with you in that room, Mr. Shelvin?
Yes, ma'am. I just have a.
Is it a parole application questionnaire? No, that's not
No,
what I'm
ma'am.
looking.
Yeah, I
Stand by.
got
We're gonna put it up on the screen for
I
you.
have it. I have it, ma'am.
So is that your signature at the bottom of that page?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay, thank you. Based on that information, Mr. Shelvin, you're not eligible for us to appoint you a lawyer today. So are you ready to proceed without a lawyer?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay. Your case this morning has been assigned to Mrs. Stapleton. Would you, she'll take the lead on the interview.
Okay.
Morning, Mr. Shelvin.
Good morning, ma'am.
All right, I'm gonna read the short version of what they think is 2 pages, the rest of it. All right, so you are,
Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
that's okay.
I have a note here that you have a lawyer, it's, Charlie Lear.
Yes, ma'am. That was my criminal defense lawyer.
Oh, you didn't expect him today, though.
No, ma'am, I didn't.
Oh. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Stapleton.
Okay, then no problem. Okay, so it's got here on rule violation number 4, it has been alleged that he was involved in criminal activity on or before January the 7th, 2025 by committing the offense of monetary instrument abuse. That's that you tried to you did cash a check and it was a bad check. How do you plead?
I plead not guilty, ma'am.
Okay. And then same rule violation. It's been alleged that a criminal activity evidenced by the arrest on or about March the 25th, 2025 by committing the offense of forgery, 5/13/2026, and you pled guilty for a misdemeanor theft on that one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It is alleged that you failed to pay supervision fees and you are in arrears of $1,762 at the time of this arrest. Your current arrearage is $2,140.
Yes, ma'am. I plead not guilty.
You plead not guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
You paid your fees?
No, ma'am, but I like to make that plea with a statement.
Okay, all right.
And the statement is that I've been incapacitated. I'm unable to work due to my disability. And I had absolutely no income coming in. And in fact, when they did approve my disability, I was currently locked up. I was locked up. Like 3 or 4 days later after I got locked up, they approved it. And I was unable to obtain it because I was in here and couldn't call them to notify them I wanted the checks. But I would definitely pay my fees if that's automatic if I get any avenues of money.
Hey, do you know what the accusation is against you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm aware.
Yeah, please explain that to me.
Well, on January 7th, I went to Harp's grocery store to attempt to cash a check. I was arrested there by Captain Abel.
Okay.
The officer in the reporting recommendation, that wasn't my arresting officer. My arresting officer was in Simmons, and he had put a warrant out for my arrest predicated on the same charges that I was already charged with, the monetary instrument abuse. I was charged with those charges for cashing all 4 checks at Benny's Supermarket and attempting to cash the check at Harp's. The officer then put me under a monetary instrument abuse charge. Thereafter, Officer Lewis took the initiative investigating further, and she charged me with forgery of the same 5 checks that was in reference. And the court consolidated it for that reason. That's the reason it all was consolidated. However, it's not a repetitive act. I didn't bind out and then continue with any criminal behavior because I became aware of it being criminal behavior on the 7th. Prior to that, I had absolutely no knowledge that this woman was engaged in criminal acts.
You were this woman, not you.
The woman, yes, ma'am. I only provided her transportation, and I had no knowledge that those checks she was cashing were stolen. In fact, I just knew for a fact that her name was Christine Jobert. Everybody was calling her Tangy. And when she would write out the checks right in my presence, she was signing it. So naturally, I thought that was the lady, Christine Jobert. And I found out on the 7th when the officer came to the Harps that that wasn't that lady's name. I had brought that lady to the store the night before. She went and shopped, did some groceries. I didn't know she had even cashed a check, but I know I did bring her to the DMV earlier that day, and she obtained her license and driver's license that she claimed she didn't have from the beginning. That was my purpose with cashing the check. She said she didn't have no identification, but she had her checkbooks. Somebody had stolen everything. And in my ignorance, I take full responsibility. Those 4 checks that was cashed, it's my signature on those checks. It's my social security number. I signed it and I put the social security number as well as my phone number on each of those checks. But I signed in complete ignorance. I've always thought that checks cashed in stores, you can get groceries, cash your check there, they give you your money back, or you can go there and cash the check. When I was on the street cashing checks, it was 1988. That's when I remember the last checks that was cashed. And that's what I feared. The reason I said it was some type of scam had to be ran on me when the officer informed me that the lady was not Christine Jobert.
What would you say? Okay, so you knew the checks were by another person in another person's name. And so you putting your name on, did you put her name on it or your name on it?
No, ma'am. I signed only my name on those checks. Only my name I signed on them, back of the check, and put my social security number on them. She signed the checks with the lady Christine Jobert. That's who I thought was Christine Jobert. She signed those checks in front of me, filling them out for me so I could cash them.
Okay.
So let me ask you this,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Shelvin, how did you meet this woman?
At a store. When I walked out of a store, a convenience store, buying at a grocery store, from buying a pack of cigarettes, she was standing out there just crying and boo-hooing, and I asked her if she was all right. And then she gave me the tale about somebody that stole her purse. They had all her identification in it. They stole her money too. And all she had, what was in her pocket, was her checkbook. And it was Christmas time. She was getting some last minute Christmas gifts and she was unable to do it. And I asked her, is there any way I can help you out with that? She told me then, and I don't know if that's exactly how it went, but at that time, I felt like she needed the help. And I gave it to her because she told me I could just cash a check for her. She'll have money for Christmas.
Right. So let me ask you this. So you cashed all 4 checks.
Yes, ma'am.
Was that all in one day?
No, ma'am. That was different days. I think it was the day before Christmas, because I remember her telling me she wanted to get gifts there. I think it was the day after Christmas, and I remember her clearly telling me she wanted to get last minute detailed gifts to people she had missed. And
Right.
then it was all I think.
That was strange. Why she wouldn't just go to the store and get gifts instead of trying to get cash? I mean, you missed something there.
Yeah, I did. I missed it. In hindsight, now I see exactly what had happened. I didn't know at that time, no, ma'am. I complied with my parole agreement.
Money? She gave you some money for taking her around? Did
Yes,
you get
ma'am.
some money?
Yes,
Yeah, you
ma'am.
got money.
She told me she was gonna give me some money at the end, and she would give me $25 for gas for bringing up where she had to go buy the gifts.
Okay, and look, it says here that there was a check cash, so it's January the 6th. These are after Christmas. And then why would she not said, take me to my bank?
She said that on the 20, I think on the 6th, I brought her to the DMV, brought her there, waited outside. She came out saying she got her license and her identification.
And then take me straight to the bank so that I can cash me some checks and let them know my purse has been stolen.
Well, she said they were personal checks. And in this area.
That's still your bank, personal checks, that's still your bank.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Well, like I stated, it was in my ignorance that I did them things. I didn't know how the check process worked. It was forever since I knew anything about the checks, 88 from 88 to now. And I had no checks that I had ever cashed. And I thought that was the normal procedures.
Well, it says here in the summary that you passed by, going to these different stores and stuff, that you passed by multiple check cashing locations in order to reach the locations you went to.
That's mistaken. They only have one store in Opelousas, and one in Sunset that cashed personal checks. And that's known. That was a mistake that the report and recommendation stated I went to specific stores so she can cash checks. I went to specific stores so she could shop, not so she could cash any checks. And I didn't drive around for her to cash checks. She would cash the check. I would cash the check. She would go to a store like Walmart somewhere and shop. And I was content with it because she was paying me. And she promised to pay me some money at the conclusion when she
I
finished.
think that's the root of your ignorance. The fact that you were going to get paid, and that's really all you were thinking about, and how it happened was really not in the forefront of your mind. Just you were going to get paid, and her behavior, because yes, it started December 26th, which was the day after Christmas, and the woman's purse got stolen in a doctor's office with some cash in it. She didn't get the cash back. Now, the checks that were forged and everything, the bank stopped that, and she didn't suffer the consequences for that, thank goodness, the victim. The first one was December 24th, which is the day before, and there was 2 checks. But then there was December the 26th and January the 2nd. So it continued on. You had a brief respite of, I don't think this makes any sense.
Yeah, she called me on the 2nd after I hadn't seen her or anything. On the 2nd, she called, told me if I was still ready to bring her to some stores. And she had to go and get her DMV, get her license and everything. So I went on the 2nd, same thing, I cashed the check. We also went like to a shoe store here in Appaloosa. She bought shoes for her grandchildren. And then on the 6th, she said she got all her information. She got her license and credit card and everything straight. So it was good. I didn't know anything about her going cash that check on the 6th that night. She went in the store, came out with groceries. So when she gave me a check, she wrote it out to me, told me $200 was going to be my fee. I was good with the $200. She signed a check in front of me, and I left with her after bringing her back. The next morning, I came to that store where I knew they would cash that check, and I gave it to her. When the officer detained me, I explained to the officer, no, I was the one who told the officer I cashed 4 of them checks at Benny's supermarket, so I know they were good. I didn't know she was telling me they were stolen. I told her I knew the checks were good because she stated the checks were bad. And when that was Officer Avia, when she explained it to me what had transpired, instantly I became aware. I was gullible. I fell for it, and it was my responsibility. I cashed those checks. I took responsibility for it immediately. Knowing I cashed the check, but it was nothing done with me trying to deceive nobody. I didn't try to,
Okay. All right. So anybody have any questions?
I don't have any questions.
All right, Mr. Shelvin, I'm very sorry that you don't understand about checks and all the different things that occurred here.
We have some people.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, hang on a minute. What did I do with it? Yours. Okay. All right, so we have we have some people in support of you, okay? We have Miss Shelvin. Deborah, please speak. Okay, Deborah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. What would you like to say on behalf of your brother?
On the behalf of my brother, is just like you saying, I explained to him that he can be railroad like that. That they have people like this, excuse my French, bullshitting him. Okay, but he deserve. I think he deserve another chance. I think he learned this time. I really do.
Not to trust anybody.
Not to trust anybody, because my brothers trust too many people.
Okay.
And he don't know that much about all these people, you know, because he's been locked up all this time. So he don't know nothing about none of these people, you know.
Right, right.
And I think she took advantage of him.
Okay.
That was his mother.
So you Miss Viola?
Yes, ma'am. I'm the mama.
I can tell. That's good. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Miss Viola, what else would you like to say about your son?
I think that he deserves another chance because, and I would appreciate it if y'all did give him a second chance because I think he was strict into what he was doing because he don't know that many people. You know, he don't know this lady like talking about because he was locked up. He's
How long
been
was he locked up, Miss Bola?
ma'am.
How long was he locked up? How long was he?
35 years, almost 35 years he was locked up. So
Okay.
he don't know a lot of, even his first and second cousin, he don't even know half of them, you know, because he was locked up all this time. You
Yes,
know,
ma'am.
yeah.
That's
But,
true. It's hard to come back into the world after being.
Yeah,
Right.
right. But I really would appreciate it if y'all, in Jesus' name, that y'all would let him come home.
That's a good thing to call on him.
chance.
Is Miss Rubin there? Miss Helen
Yes,
Rubin?
ma'am.
Can you speak,
I'm
please?
here.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I'm the fiance of Charles Michael Shelvin. Good morning.
Okay.
I don't think he was aware of what happened. I apologize because, like I said, he's been locked up since he was 17. So he really didn't know the process of cashing checks and whatever. Because when Troy first came home, the second week he got a job at Waste Management. He was being paid on a card. And I
Okay.
was the one in charge of, doing things for him on the card. And also he did make payments, maybe about 3 to 4 payments of his parole. But then he got a letter from his doctor stating that he was disabled due to his he have a psychotic, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, psychotic nerve in his back.
Sciatic nerve. Oh,
Sciatic
gosh.
nerve, I'm sorry.
Sciatic nerve. Okay.
I
Yes.
did send up a paper to probation and parole showing that. I also gave Miss Rachel Green, his parole officer, paper saying why he wasn't making payments and why he wasn't working. He did hold 2 jobs, Waste Management. He didn't go forward with the job because they were moving out of state. His parole officer at the time did give him permission, but because of transportation, he wasn't able to move forward. He got on with clean slate in Lafayette. And because he was taken off and going to the doctor and stuff, he was let go of that job. Not really let go, but the doctor gave him a paper to give to clean slate. So that is his reason why he wasn't working and making payments. And he did get approved for his disability, but because he was incarcerated at the time, he couldn't have a phone conversation with them for them to move forward.
But that has happened now. He's on Social Security disability.
Well, not yet because he's incarcerated and he couldn't move forward with the case.
Okay. Okay. Well,
they did send a letter saying that he was approved, but they needed to have a phone conference with him.
Okay. Well, that's good then. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now, does any of my colleagues have any questions?
Yeah. Let me ask Mr. Shelvin,
Yes, ma'am.
what did you learn?
That I can't trust people in that. I got to apply my critical thinking skills more. Definitely. I learned that.
So if you're not, you've been in jail over a year, haven't you?
Yes, ma'am.
And I noticed in your record, you had a substance abuse problem. Have you?
Yes, ma'am.
About that?
I went to Oceans and got treatment there. I stayed at Oceans about 6 months as an outpatient. And
so how do you deal with it on a daily basis now?
Now, honestly, I drink coffee. And that helps me, I'm contained with coffee. The nicotine is a help for me, drinking coffee.
So you smoke cigarettes, you said, the nicotine?
Yes,
and drink coffee. Yep. No drugs.
Yeah.
No alcohol.
No alcohol. I don't know alcohol. I can't even stand the smell of it. I guess all them years away from it.
That's good. You go to church?
No, ma'am, I haven't been going to church like I should. I've attended services when my mom or my aunt tell me to come to church.
The reason I asked that question, you sure like to talk a lot. And I was gonna ask you if you would consider talking to the youth group at church. I think you have a story to tell that maybe they could learn from.
Yes, ma'am, I would love doing that. I've been trying to do that with poor Barry with the recreation center.
You can do it in church with your mama. She'd probably be proud of that. All right, I don't have any other questions. You ready to vote?
Yeah, oh, yeah, all right.
All right.
So my, vote today is do not revoke. You served a year really on this, sentence, so to speak. And so I think that's enough time and you've learned lessons. And, I agree with Ms. Renats. I'd love to see you talk to people at church because you do have a story to tell. And some people, will listen because they know that you've lived it. And your mother, you know, invoking Jesus' name. So I think I'd listen to your mom, okay? So today my vote is not to revoke.
Mr. Tilts.
Where do you plan to cash the next checks?
Oh, man, oh.
My vote also is do not revoke.
All right, Mr. Shelvin, I say do not revoke also, but I am going to add a special condition of your parole. We do want you to perform community service speaking to at-risk youth. And you got to do that 4 hours a month.
Okay.
That becomes burdensome. You talk to your parole officer, but be careful. Good luck.
Ma'am. Thank y'all very much. Thank y'all.
Oh, I appreciate
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all so much.
Oh.
Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to tell you close your door.
Hello?
Now, you know you can't be talking on the people thing like they gonna mute you. You see my stepmom? Bad. Look her bad too. Hey, Juicy. You see it? It's good though.
They never sent your stuff neither. 3 weeks.
And people already got their stuff because my little partner said his stuff went to the wrong address.
Nothing. I just asked Aaliyah this morning because I was gonna bring that up too.
No, you're not.
What?
All lawyers are.
I don't want you in LaFouche.
I don't want to be here no more either. Like, I'm ready to come home.
Michaela there.
You ever get tired of acting like you give a damn?
She there?
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact. Got my color though, red.
Yeah, that's the red. What's my color? Look. You see all my elbow and shit.
Oh, ooh, and then yeah, I don't feel. I'm gonna tell him I don't feel it's safe there.
Mutual team.
All right, Mr. Gordon, good morning.
Good morning.
You are at the LaFouche Parish Jail, is that
Yes,
right?
yes, ma'am.
All right, so I think do you have any paperwork there with you?
This one.
Yeah, that's a parole revocation questionnaire. And so at the bottom of that page, is that your signature?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, based on the information on that form, it tells us you're not eligible for us to appoint you a lawyer. So are you ready to proceed this morning without a lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so your case let me just acknowledge, I think you can see on Zoom is your mother, Jennifer Gordon. And then we have your other mother here, Miss Michaela Hanchett. And both of those ladies want to speak on your behalf, and they're going to do so in just a few minutes. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis, so I'm going to just turn it over to him.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mr. Gordon. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I guess I'm breathing this morning, right?
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm going to read violations, and you tell me whether you're guilty, not guilty, or if you want to present a statement. At your revocation hearing on 3/18/26, in lieu of revocation, the board ordered you to complete a transitional work program. You failed to comply with the order of the parole board that you were and did not satisfy the completion of the work release due to violation 14. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or with a statement?
Not guilty with a statement.
Okay, tell us what happened.
All right, I had just got off of work. All right. I had a job. They had me at the Crystal's Hot Sauce. All right, I get off of work and I be helping them sometime in the kitchen because they be short on staffs at the work release in the kitchen. So I went and laid down because I had been working all day. So I went and laid down in my rack, and people come wake me up. So I look at him. He said, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm good." He said, "Your eyes look red." I said, "I was asleep." I said, "You just come wake me up out my sleep." He said, "Well, let's go take you your blood pressure." So they brought me to take my blood pressure. He said I was low. My blood pressure was low. So I was like, man, I was laying down. I don't know why my blood pressure low. I don't know why I'll never have high blood pressure either. So he was like, we're gonna bring you to the jail at the work release. I mean, at our work at the jail because it was nighttime and they don't have the nurse at the station at night. So they brought me to the jail to get my vitals and my blood pressure checked out. But when I got here, the lady said my blood pressure was fine, my vitals was fine. She said, why y'all brought him? I said, they said my blood pressure was low. Then he's like, no, he looked intoxicated. I said, all right, if I'm intoxicated, why y'all never gave me a drug test? He like he called the work police and told him like his vitals fine and his blood pressure low. I mean not low, like the lady said he was fine. So the man the supervisor told him, well, dress me out. But since I've been here, I never received a write-up. They never brought me a write-up supposedly from work release saying I was intoxicated. But like the parole man told me when he brought my paper Friday, he said, if you think somebody intoxicated, we would in my mind, we are drug testing. They never gave me a drug test a day. And when they said I was intoxicated, I'm like, man, I'm not intoxicated. I really was tired. I said, that's my first time really working like this. Like I never had a real job in that world. So he was like, well, when you go in front of the road boy, just let them know like that place they just corrupted. Like they like since I've been there, like 15 other people that got knocked out for the same thing, so-called saying they intoxicated.
Okay. How long were you on work release?
For 2 months.
That day, how long did you work? 8 hours, 6 hours?
Oh, from 6:30 to we get off at 5. And then like I said, I go help them in the kitchen too when I get to the work release.
Okay, that's good.
Like I do stuff for them. Like I don't even much have to go help them in the kitchen, but I just out the kindness of my heart because they be short on staff, so I be helping them in the kitchen.
Okay, thank you. We want to hear from your mother now, Miss Jennifer Gordon. Is she on Zoom? Miss Gordon, how are you this morning?
Good morning. How are you?
Good. What do you want to say about your son?
Well, I can honestly say this go around, he's been doing real good. I talked to the supervisor at Crystal myself to check to see how he has been doing, and because I have his personal number, the man at the Crystal place, and he was looking for Donovan to come back to work after this day that happened, and Donovan has never worked before, so I can understand him being tired. My youngest daughter suffers from low blood pressure. I don't know what happened with the blood pressure situation, but I do know that one thing about it, he did beg those people to give him a drug test. And I had kept calling them to talk to them. They didn't answer, but when they called me one time, they called me to tell me that they was gonna send his stuff to me and they needed an address. It's been 3 weeks. I still never got that. Then they took half of his money from him that I don't even know if y'all got the money that he's been working because he made over $800 and some dollars, but he haven't seen it.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for your comment.
You're welcome.
We're gonna hear from Ms. Hanchett now.
Good morning, sir.
Sean,
Yes.
stand up at the podium, please. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You sure
How
you're
you
ready?
doing?
I'm doing fine, and how are you?
I seen better, man.
What I want you all to know is, I really think this last go around with my son, it was him trying to do better. It's just the means and the help that he got was not in his best interest. I raised Donovan for 16 years, so, these last 15, he's been out there in that world on his own. But what I want Donovan to understand is that if this parole board gives you your out this time, you have to hold yourself accountable for your actions. I don't want to hear the excuses from others because I know that you know better. And I know what your work ethic is. You said you hadn't worked, but when your very first job that I helped you get, I still remember the praises that they gave you. So working is not a problem for you. You'll do that. It's just I want you to be able to hold yourself accountable for your actions. Nobody is responsible for you but you. I've always taught you that. Also, too, I started a company called Hank's House for this very reason. To give those that are re-entering, and I told him, I said, if the parole board gives him, lets you out, that I'll work with his caseworker, anything that's in place for these people to be able to re-enter society successfully. That's what my company does.
What's the name of it?
Hank's House.
Hank's House.
Hank's House was started as a re-entry and also for homeless and veterans. So if you look us up, we're there.
Thank you.
That was my dad's vision, and that's my vision for my son. So, like I told you when we talked on the phone last week, as long as I can find out what they're willing to allow you to have, and those people that you will work with, my company will work with you and your case managers to help you be successful. But you have to understand, you have to put in the work as well. It's not gonna happen overnight. So I don't want you to continue looking for a quick fix. But as long as you're willing to put in the work, like I've always been, I'm there with you.
Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you. Any of my colleagues have questions?
Yeah, I do. I see, Donovan, I do see the report about what the officers observed in you that night. It was like 8:30, I believe, in the evening. And I do see the disciplinary report dated May 13th. Did you go to DB court?
No, ma'am. I never been a DV court yet.
Right, it doesn't,
Like, they
there's
have
no
people-
indication on here that you did go to court. So I was just confirming that with you. So what do you think is, your plan whenever you get out of jail? What would it be? The board gave you a break last time, realizing that you needed probably some job skills, and that's, I'm sure, why they said work release. So tell us what your plans would be.
My plans really, like, to be honest, like, once I got that job, I really started liking the job, like
At the
going to
Crystal
work.
Hot Sauce place?
Yeah. Like, I really started liking going to work. I was looking forward to, I was getting up early, waiting on the van to go to work. Like, I'm like this time, like, cause I'm getting old. I'll be 30 this year. Like,
I'm getting old.
so it's like I'm this time I'm ready to do something different. Like, I've been getting in trouble for the last 15 years bad, like, and I'm ready just to do something different. Like, I'm tired of it always led me to the same thing, back in jail, pushing my family away. And like this time I'm just ready to reunite with them and do the right thing, because like,
So if they're willing to help you, you're gonna accept it?
yes, ma'am. Like, I won't turn down the help. I'm really to help myself too.
Where would you live?
Like, I could go with my grandmama
Where's that?
in Baton Rouge.
All right, that's all I got, Mr. Tillis. Miss,
But Hank's House would help you. My company helps secure house.
Can I call the executive session?
I'll second.
Dennis?
Yes.
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 We're gonna be in executive session for just a few moments to discuss confidential matters. We'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Donovan, we are back in regular session. It's 9:44. We're prepared to vote. Mr. Tillis will be voting first.
Mr. Gordon, we've given you a chance, and it seems like you, I don't know, are you sure you have yourself together?
I know I got myself together this time.
Okay, what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna say do not revoke, but you're gonna have conditions. We're gonna have to send you to the Hanchett House. And if this comes up again, you have any problems, you're gonna be doing some time probably. Okay?
I promise you, that's my word. You would never have to worry about that.
Prove it to me. Your conditions are you're gonna have to go to the Hanchett House. Okay? That's my vote.
Second.
I concur with Mr. Tillis, and with his conditions also.
All right, Donovan, and based on what I see, I too, my vote is do not revoke and add as a special condition that you must connect with Hank's house.
Yes,
Take
ma'am.
the services offered and you must maintain full-time employment.
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck to you.
Thank y'all so much.
Good morning. Committee on Parole is reconvening. It's 9:49 a.m. Today is June 4th, 2026. We're at Rayburn Correctional Center. Good morning, Warden. Would you and your staff introduce yourself, please?
Yes, ma'am. Keith Biggs, Warden.
Jennifer Forbes, classification. Kristen Herbert, records.
That's it.
All right, thank you, sir. And we have Mr. Edwards.
Yes, ma'am.
Morning, sir. Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name, your DOC number.
I'm tired. That was 317974.
Yes, sir, Mr. Edwards. I'm going to read some identifying information into the record and ask you to verify if it's correct. Mr. Edwards, you are currently serving a 30-year hard labor sentence. You were sentenced December 8th, 2008 as a habitual offender for possession of cocaine. You have a good time date, mandatory release date, November 30th, 2034. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, and so you do see on the screen, we have the parole project here, Mr. Kerry Myers. Your daughter, Miss Burns, is trying to check in. We're still trying to reach her. So if she is able to get in, we'll ask for her comments also. Your case this morning has been assigned to Mrs. Stapleton. She'll take the lead on the interview.
Hey, how are you doing this morning? Want to speak? You can talk.
Hey, how you doing?
Mr. Edwards? Okay. No problems, no problems. Listen, why don't you tell us what brought you here today?
What brought me here today?
What happened?
Man, we have a little bit of trouble hearing you.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're having trouble hearing me?
I was sentenced as a second offender.
Okay. And so what was your sentence and what was it for?
Possession of drugs.
What kind of drugs and what happened?
I went to court to find me guilty on possession of cocaine charge. Back in 2005, really.
In 2005?
Yes, ma'am.
So what were you doing in 2005 that they charged you with that? I mean, what was going on? What happened? How did they catch you with drugs?
They found some drugs behind the house.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
They were just walking behind the house. Well, I'm gonna read here a little bit. According to arrest report, Bob, I knew because I'm dragging everything out of you this morning. So according to arrest report, Bob, I New Iberia Police Department on May 22nd, 2004, narcotics agents set up a surveillance on an abandoned home located on Corrine Street in New Iberia. The surveillance was due to a cooperating individual that notified New Iberia Police narcotics agents that you, Todd Edwards, AKA BR or Baton Rouge, was coming to New Iberia to sell crack cocaine. At 1 a.m., agents noticed an individual fitting the description of Edwards walked into the rear of the abandoned residence. Agents witnessed Edwards conceal two objects, one under the residence and the other on a clothesline pole. Agents then converged on Edwards and placed him into custody. A large bag of crack cocaine was located in the clothesline pole, and a second larger bag of crack cocaine was found under the abandoned residence. A total of 81 grams of crack cocaine was seized in this operation. A search of Edwards' person revealed $305, which agents believe was derived from drug transactions. Edwards was transported to the New Iberia Police Department and charged with possession of crack cocaine over 28 grams, but less than 200 grams. So that's what got you arrested, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, got that out of the way. Okay, so why don't you tell me also what you've been doing since you've been in jail?
Oh, I have a lot of things. I have I have GED, serve safe, money management, AANA, anger management. I'm pressing at this prison.
Uh-huh.
I'm a janitor in a dining hall, lawn service.
Mhm.
I'm in a
So a
faith-based
lot,
program.
yeah. So I'm seeing here a lot of programs that you've been taking, especially during 2017. I see a lot during that time. And then I see 2011 and 2012. Have you taken anything since 2017 or have you kind of maxed out?
Yes, ma'am. I'm in a program right now. I've been there for like a year and a half almost.
What is that program?
Freedom Challenge.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm
Yes,
gonna
ma'am.
speak to the warden and then I'm gonna come back to you, okay? I would like to see what the warden has to say. What would you say for him, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Todd came to us in, April of 22. He's had no write-up since he's been here. He does work in the kitchen. And his record has all of the certificates and stuff we have available for him.
So he's been there approximately 4 years, is that correct? Approximately,
Sorry?
approximately 4 years. He's been there approximately 4 years and no write-ups? Okay,
Just a little over 4 with no write-ups.
okay, all right. Well, you've got some people here that would like to speak for you, and one of them is your daughter, Miss Barnes. Would you like to speak, ma'am? Or Burns, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Tekla Barons, yes, ma'am.
Barons, okay. What would you like to say?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna get a little emotional. I'm ready for my dad to come home.
Okay, that's okay.
It's Tom. He's changed. He's in good health. He's better mindset. And I'm just ready for my father to come home. He's been gone 18 years.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so we have Mr. Kerry Myers.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project here on behalf of Mr. Edwards. As his daughter just said, he's been incarcerated for 18 years, which is significant enough time to need transitional support should the board grant us parole today. Parole Project is prepared and ready to offer that support to Mr. Edwards. He would come into our program where he would be evaluated by our social workers. He would also receive direct case management, essentially coaching in restoring his ability to function in the world as it is today, significantly different from the one he left. We'll help him through technology, financial management, goal setting. We'll help him with employment. He will go through a number of peer support classes at 56 years old. Certainly Mr. Edwards is now at an age where criminality is at the worst just waned. The records, the data all proves that at his age criminal behavior is decreases significantly. With the support system, with the support of his family, with the support of Parole Project, we believe that Mr. Edwards will succeed on parole. This is an opportunity. He has a good time date in 2034, which is 8 years from now. This is an excellent opportunity to grant Mr. Edwards parole with the conditions that the board would feel conducive to his success. So Parole Project would just ask you to consider these things today and grant his parole.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so Mr. Edwards, let's come back to you. Out of the classes that you took, which one do you find that was the most influential in your life that you think would help you most?
The most?
Freedom
Challenge. It's brought me closer to God, the Holy Spirit. It changed my life totally.
Tell me a little about it.
Well, it helps you to live a spiritual life, a correction, a navigator in life, to where you make right decisions.
Can I ask questions?
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you a little bit more. One other thing I was gonna ask you about is your beginning criminal history, which was very violent. You had the drug history, later, because you're billed as a habitual offender. But in the very beginning of your criminal history, you had 3 counts of first-degree murder. You had other things, and you had the drugs and everything, but will you tell me about the personal violence against other people? Can you hear me?
I never been convicted of murder charges.
No, but you were arrested.
You were arrested for them. So how did you get involved with being arrested for murder charges? Nothing?
No, well, at the time I was accused of the wrong person. Because the charge was dismissed.
Okay, all right, then I don't have any further questions on that.
Mr. Edwards,
Tell us.
how long were you selling drugs?
Probably about 10 years.
So you were selling drugs 10 years. What are your plans now if released? I mean, and help us. We're pulling things out of you. Tell us, what are your plans? I mean, talk to us.
I'm gonna be a working man. I'm gonna be totally transformed. Bank accounts, forklift, CDL license, lawn service.
Where do you plan to go?
I have no intentions of dealing with drugs, period. No violation of life, period.
Okay, where do you plan to live?
Well, I have some houses. I'm gonna be with the project for a little while.
Okay, tell me about it.
I have another house with my daughter.
Mm-hmm. You only have one child?
No, I have 3 kids.
3 kids? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Seem like I'm pulling teeth, but I have more questions.
You are a man of few words, aren't you?
Few words?
Few, very few. How did you manage, when was your last write-up? I know you hadn't had a write-up there, but when was the last one you got?
While I was at Hunt Pilot, I had a cell phone.
When was that?
21.
All right. So the offenses that Ms. Stapleton was referring to in 1989, Baton Rouge Police Department list an arrest for first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder. And I do see that about 6 weeks later, the state refused prosecution. Is that the one you were referring to when you were the wrong person?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then I see one in 1992, again, Baton Rouge PD. The arrest is listed as first-degree murder, possession of marijuana, fleeing to elude. And that was, you weren't billed for that, but there was something going on that caused that arrest. What was it?
That might have been a high-speed chase or something. But a murder, attempted murder?
It says first-degree murder. Then we have 1992, June of 92, there's an arrest by Baton Rouge PD. The offense is listed as armed robbery, attempted second-degree murder, fugitive from East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office. And you pled guilty to an amended charge there.
Yeah.
How much time did you do on that charge?
I received probation for that, ma'am.
So is this your
Right,
longest
right.
period of incarceration?
5 years probation.
Yes. And so, is this, your current period of incarceration is the longest longest amount of time you've been in jail?
Yes, ma'am. 18 years, ma'am.
10 years. And you say tell us what city your daughter lives in.
Baton Rouge.
So that would be your plan after you finish with the parole projects program?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You sure don't talk much.
Can I ask a question? Mr. Myers, have you've interviewed, Mr. Edwards?
Not personally, our client advocate did, but we have discussed Mr. Edwards more than once.
How do you feel about him? Do you think he's ready? We're pulling teeth, and I'm trying to talk to somebody who is, he's not saying much, and I'm beginning to think he's comfortable where he.
His interviews were very similar, from what I understand, with our client advocate, and but you know, based on the work that he's done, the programs that he's taken, his age, you know, he certainly appears to be a suitable client for parole project. With the support systems, what we know is that with the support systems we have in place, with the family support he has, that, you know, Mr. Edwards would do well on parole. And this is a chance for the board to impose any conditions that he would need prior to his good time release.
Thank you. Mr. Edwards.
Yes, sir.
Are you comfortable where you are?
No. I need to be free. I need to move. I need to elevate my life.
Yeah, but you don't impress me that I mean, I think all three of us have been pulling teeth. And, but it seems like Ward, maybe he's relaxed there a couple more years, maybe?
No, I'm better for society, sir.
Okay.
I'm a totally changed man.
All right.
Have you done, I'm trying to find your programs listing. I can't put my thought right now. Thinking for Change, was that one of your programs that you did?
I did a few things for change for a few years ago. I did that.
Okay. All right. Well, Ms. Stapleton, you ready to vote?
Yeah. My vote today, Mr. Edwards, is I'm not gonna grant your parole. And it's based upon you had a very serious criminal history with two things: violence against person, and then also the drugs. And then today, it was very difficult to get you to even say what you had done. I mean, I had to read it to you. So I think you need to come to terms with what your past has been that brought you here today. So my vote today is I'm not going to grant. And you've served 18 or 30 years. So,
Mr. Tillis?
Mr. Edwards, it seems like you've been trying to change. It's just very hard to pull it out of you. The warden, his comment, and my vote today is going to be to grant to the Louisiana Parole Project.
All right, Mr. Edwards, my vote today would also be to grant your parole to the Parole Project. Your record, your prison record at least, shows or demonstrates that you have changed from the man you were in the 90s. The fact that you have a clean conduct record, at least during your stay there at Rayburn, tells me a lot. And I agree with Mr. Myers that, you know, you're at the perfect age where we could, you know, supervise you for another 8 years and be sure you still do well, really get you on your feet. But Mr. Edwards, excuse me, you're, you know, it requires a unanimous vote. So today, sir, your parole's been denied. All right, good morning. This is Christopher.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
My name is Christopher Lee Reisner, DOC number 480-726.
Reisner, I'm sorry, I mispronounced.
It's okay,
So, I want you to introduce your guests that are seated there in the room with you. Tell me who they are and what's their relationship to you.
Yes, ma'am. My little brother's here, Jeremy Corkin. He's my brother. My uncle's over there in the corner. His name's Steve Jenkins. Craig Corkin right there. He was my stepfather. Lavinia Jenkins, that's my grandmother. And Jill Cooper, she's my aunt.
Okay, and so, who will be speaking for you? Anybody want to say any words? Just let me know. We'll call on them at the right time, but I need to know who they'll be.
Yes, ma'am. My little brother, he feels led to speak.
Okay.
And my aunt, she may say something as well. Jill Cooper.
Got it. Okay. So I'm going to start off by just reading some identifying information into the record. Your case has been assigned to Mrs. Stapleton. So once we go over that preliminary, I'm going to turn it over to her. So you're currently, let's see, you have two different sentencing dates. So you were sentenced first in Washington Parish in November 19th of 2018. You received a 25-year sentence, production and manufacturing of CDS2 as a habitual offender. Then also count 2 was false representation of a controlled dangerous substance. You received a 5-year sentence. You have another date, June 27, 2022, which involves battery of a dating partner involving strangulation, false imprisonment with a dangerous weapon, aggravated assault on a dating partner. For that, you received 3 years, 7 years, and 3 years. You do have a good time release date, mandatory release, August 29, 2035. Is that correct information?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Stapleton.
Okay, Mr. Reisner, what would you like to say to the board today to let us know how you got where you are today?
I guess if I was talking about how I got where I am, it would probably start a long way back, but I would like to say that I understand that addiction is a process and that relapse is a process. And without going into my life history or anything, I become addicted at an early age. I found myself in a cycle of using and abusing, and I found myself even to the point of being a batterer of the people that I dated. And I sit here today and I'm guilty. And I'm glad that I can say that I'm guilty, because it seemed like the first time I went to prison, I felt like it was everybody's fault but my own. And the second time I think I did start taking accountability, but I hadn't started taking responsibility. And I didn't prepare. I didn't make a plan that was going to be successful. When I left prison the last time, my plan was to get a job and smoke a little weed. And my plan was to probably maybe do a little meth, but I wasn't going to sell drugs no more and things like that. And I went home and that's what I did. I got a job and I started using. When I didn't sell, but I found myself back in the same spot. And I didn't really realize then what was the obsession or the compulsion. though I had lived through it, I never really put a name to any of it. But this time in prison, I really began to find a recovery. I began to believe that that was something I needed. I used to laugh that off and kind of pick on people. I thought that was kind of lame and that wasn't for me. I guess I thought I had it together, but the truth is I didn't. And if I was sitting here today for what all I've done, I'm guilty. I really don't deserve much of nothing. But I have been working a program, and I'll have 4 years sober in about 3 months and 6 days from now. And man, I just had to come to a place. I have an unshakable belief that change is possible, that I have the capacity to change. I sit here, I've been sober. I've never been that in my life. I never had a year, but I'm here approaching 4. And for right now, that's good enough for me, brother. Parole happens for me this time or not. I'm thankful to be in my right sober mind. And it don't look good because I've done some terrible things. I found myself in some bad places. I bought into the literature. I kind of look at it like the Bible. I don't understand it all, but I believe it all. And so I've been uncovering a lot of things that come in cycles. Tell the truth, I had a little relapse earlier this year. I got a rap sheet that had me back eligible for parole. I didn't use drugs, but I found in my thinking, I started being angry, and instead of having a grateful attitude and just being repentant, I started looking at faults in others and things. But I'm glad I had laid down some groundwork because I had people I could go to, and I said, man, I see myself kind of getting off track, and guys helped pull me back up. I always kind of isolated when I was getting high, but I built a community in here. And whenever I'm given the chance, whenever it does come, I'm gonna do the same out there. I'd help it today. Brother Henderson Palmer would be here with me. If I was to make parole, I'm going out there with a guy. He's a prison minister. For whatever reason, he wants to be involved in my situation. And so my residence plan and my employment plan kind of revolve around him. For whatever reason, he wasn't able to make it today. And while it is a little disappointing, I have also learned through the process not to take it personal. I know that there's a reason for it. I know that he's still bought into the process. He's been right here where I'm at. I think he's right here in Rayburn. He got out maybe 15 years ago or so. And, you know, I whatever it is, I know I need some community. You know, like my family, I know they love me. I know they want to be there for me. Maybe they might not even quite have a good understanding of why I want to just come straight home. But, you know, I've started a good thing here. And, you know, I believe in the steps. I believe in God. I believe in the process. I believe that I'm able. So whenever that time comes, I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to have a plan. And that's the best that I can do. I work every day and I give myself in service, believing that really I made some notes. And, you know, the things that I believe in number one, the power of prayer. Because when I was in a hopeless state, it first started coming about with the courage to start believing for something else, to pray. I believe in the process of recovery. I believe I need to prepare. I need to plan. I need to execute. I believe in the promise of sowing and reaping. It sounded bad at first because I was like, dang, man, I sure have done a lot of bad things. But it says that if you don't get weary with well doing, sooner or later you will reap a harvest. To not get weary with well doing. I believe in the principle of sharing. Even my pain, I've learned that here at Rayburn as a mentor, I go around and I see a lot of guys that are still lost in addiction and things. And it seems like the more I give away, the more I'm able to help them and the less of a burden it is on myself, which is really just the principle of step 10, that I continue to take a more inventory of myself. And when I'm wrong, I properly admit it and having a spiritual awakening. I continue to take that message and I do apply those principles to my life. And I believe in number 5, the power of identification, that as long as I stay in a sober mind and do the right thing, that God's always revealing to me those places where I'm still deficient, places where I'm able to overcome at, and with the help of others, and having faith, I believe that I'm able. And other than that, I guess if you wanted to know that I had plans, I mean, it's kind of basic recovery stuff. I'm gonna avoid all mood altering drugs. I'm doing it in here. I feel like if I could do it in here, I can do it out there. I've never been sober in prison. I've never been sober in society. This is my first experience with sobriety. Not just with sobriety, but in recovery. I'm on 10 meetings. I believe in only having sober friends. I got people that I can call in a crisis, that I can go tell them what's going on, because I really believe in open and honest communication, which is, I know some things is going to get kind of hectic in a little while if we talk about things like criminal history, because there's some bad things there, but I believe in open and honest communication, or else I'll be stuck in my past. I believe in getting a sponsor. That's why I have Henderson Palmer. Even though he's going to be my mentor, I know he's going to help me be plugged in to people who's going to be able to be my sponsor. I believe in avoiding all triggers whenever possible. I believe in working the steps, developing a spiritual program. I believe when I get out of here, the last time when I went home from prison, I used the insurance and I went out and I got some prescription medication. That's what I did. I used it for all, I didn't even really need it. Just got some mind altering substances from the doctor. This time I plan, if I make parole, I hope to go out there and use the insurance, get personal individual counseling. Because I know there's some things that I don't know if I can fix it here. I haven't yet. There's some things I know that's still on the inside that has to be dealt with. I think I need maybe a different level of concern for that and care. And I know it's available out there. I didn't use any resources the last time other than in a frivolous way. I believe in participating in ministry opportunities. I'm a peer minister in here. I'm a mentor. It's been working for me here. I give myself in service. I mean, none of it wouldn't show up on paper, but they got people over there that's got dementia and things like that. I got a special ministry there. I got a brother who's paralyzed. My mother's in the nursing home. I kind of believe that maybe somebody be kind to them. So I've been playing it forward. I want to continue getting my degree. I've already attained an associate's degree. I got 3 ASC certifications and a technical degree from a community college, but I'd like to attain my bachelor's degree. I hope to have, maybe someday I could use it to be a counselor. I believe in building a positive self-attitude, because for a long time, I definitely had a negative outlook on my own self. I didn't feel very deserving. I tell the truth, I don't feel like it today, but I come against it every chance I got.
Can I ask you something?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about what you believe in, and most of it, well, all of it's surrounding drugs and helping other people. But what I haven't heard you say anything about is the fact that you've got a serious history of domestic violence.
That's right, ma'am.
Break that down for me real quick.
Well, I had one prior arrest on it before I had this conviction. And the truth is, there was definitely an element of domestic violence involved. I mean, there was. However, during the course of the situation, they had some other things they attached to it. And so when it went through the court system, it got dismissed. And if I had to be totally honest, I didn't take that opportunity to recognize in myself those faults, because I said, oh, well, you know, they put a rape charge on me. I didn't rape anybody. And I could sit here and say I didn't sexually assault anybody, though, I had been arrested for it. And if it hadn't been for that, I would have been processed through the court system, and I would have been found guilty, because I'd have had to plea out to the domestic violence. I would have. And I looked at everything except for on myself, man. To be honest, just like I had developed throughout the course of my life, I let it be about everything but me.
Okay, so that was the one in 2011. That goes way back.
That's right.
And then drugs were always involved. Serious drugs were always involved.
That's right.
Everything you've admitted to until I brought up the domestic violence. Didn't say
serious
nothing.
drugs. Oh, man.
Now I see that you took victim awareness, and I see that you took the domestic violence program. You've talked about every single program except that. And now we're back here again.
Yes, ma'am.
While you're talking, why don't you tell me something about that?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I'll be honest, some of that stuff is rather perplexing to me. It makes us acknowledge things in ourselves. And while I was in relationships, just like this last time, I didn't batter during my relationship, but I had an episode in the end where things got, and I choked her. I choked that girl, and she was such a good girl. And I would be surprised that she didn't necessarily speak against me today, ma'am, to tell the truth. I terrorized her. I threatened her. I used coercion. I didn't punch her physically, but I slapped her and I choked her, and I think it was my attempt, as I read the material and stuff, I believe that in that time I was trying to hold on control of a situation that had been well out of control. And I took it out on her, ma'am. And I don't agree with all the information and I don't understand it. Like for instance, and I made a history, the note of it because it's very important to me because I do want to change. It says that a history, and this was what the literature said in the DAP program. It says that a history of a man who batters is often a history of childhood abuse. And while that is an explanation, I don't want to let it be my excuse. And the truth is I grew up in domestic violence. My little brother, he grew up in domestic violence. My stepdad and my mother, they was both alcoholics. I'm thankful to have him in my life and here today. Because I know that if I did go home, he's got some years of sobriety. And I'm thankful for that. And I do understand that some things that happened in my childhood has played a bad role in the things of my adulthood. However, I feel like I got to be responsible for that. And I have a strong desire for that. It also says that the only way we can make extensive changes, ma'am, is to be fully accountable. It says that we have to have a good environment. And it says that we have to be willing to work a long process, being painfully honest with myself and accountable.
Well, you know what you're doing to me right now? You're just reading off a list. You're not talking to me about it. So what we're gonna do here is now, we're gonna interrupt for a little while and you can gather yourself and the people that you would like to speak, like your brother. Let's see what your brother has to say. And you gather yourself when we speak again, that you're not just reading off of a piece of paper, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your brother, what would you like to say?
They come up so when they hear me.
Speak.
They can probably hear you from there, Jim.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what I would like to say is that me and my brother's relationship has not always been good.
Yes, sir.
And although, you know, everybody has a past. Some past are worse than the others. And when we say truth, people think sometimes truth is good. But truth is not always good because sometimes truth is ugly. And the truth is, my brother's got an ugly past. But through y'all's programs and through the power of God, this is the first time I've seen him change in prison. He hasn't done drugs, and my brother, you know, I'm not gonna cut him no slack here in front of y'all. He was an addict. And on drugs, sometimes, yeah, things could get physical. You know, I don't know what all y'all would like to hear from us. I know that I could sit here and tell you a lot about what I know about it. Me and my brother for the past 5 years probably has not spoken much until about a year ago. Because it's like he said, I was so used to him blaming others for his actions, for his problems. But since he's been here, and like I said, through y'all's program, I've never seen a change in my brother that has come about until recent. Until the last few years. You know, this is the first time him being sober ever in his life. Ever since I can remember, my brother's done drugs, crack, meth, you name it. I mean, me and him's both been through it. You know, I recently got, and I know this ain't about me, this parole, but I didn't get sober till 5 years ago. You know, I've done drugs most of my life. You know, and I'm not blaming my parents. I mean, even though they were alcoholics, you know, we can't put our problems on childhood.
Lee's learned to accept that and take that into accountability. I mean, he takes accountability for his actions now, which I've never seen. This is a whole new side. And I know y'all sitting here telling him, you know, let him get his stuff together. You know, one of the things is, you know, is regardless whether y'all let him go on parole or not. Before we even come to this parole date for the last several weeks, you know, I've told him, I said, you know, Paul done some of his greatest works right in the jailhouse. And he said, my brother said, you know what, brother? And he said, whether they let me out on parole or not, I'm not gonna feel no certain type of way about it either way. I'm still gonna continue doing what the Lord has called me to do. Now, for my brother to say that,
It's huge, huh?
it's huge. It's huge. Now, don't get me wrong. I would love for y'all to let him out on parole. This is the first time that I can say him leaving and going out into the world would be a good thing and be good for others. I mean, the only reason he's in good a shape as he is because of the programs that y'all have here. So the programs are working.
Yes, sir.
Programs are working for him. And, you know, I can't thank y'all enough for, you know, the people here. I mean, this is one of the hugest things for him I've ever seen. One of the biggest changes in his life I've ever seen. And I know that if y'all was to grant him parole, I know without a shadow of doubt in my mind that he's going to be all right this time. His way of thinking has changed so much than it has beforehand. You know, I told my brother, you know, I was just going to let the Lord speak through me to y'all. I wasn't writing nothing down. I wasn't making no list because I believe that transparency should be what it's all about. And I'm transparent with y'all. I mean, my brother, he was bad at one time.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you couldn't, you know, you just had to have known it. From where he was, you know, 5, 10, 15 years ago. I mean, if y'all knew him the way I knew him,
Okay.
y'all would know how big of a change he has made and what he is willing to do to keep himself up. I mean, I told him, you know, man, if you ever get, you know, if they do grant you parole, if there ever comes a time, you know, you feeling like you need to do something like, come to me. I'm not going to judge you for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to hold you accountable. And Brother Henderson and Brother Travis, you know, both of them has been here. And Brother Travis, he's doing amazing. One of my brother's dearest and closest friends. Brother Palmer also. They're doing big things outside these walls, outside these bars, outside the gates.
You've given a wonderful testimony for you, brother. Can we, we're gonna have to move along. But I'm glad for everything you said, okay? I'm really glad for everything you said. No, that's okay. Can we let the next person speak? Didn't you have somebody else that wanted to speak for you? Maybe your aunt?
I'm just gonna say one quick thing. I'm gonna agree with like what Jeremy says, but you know, the main thing with Lee is his sobriety because he really has a heart. It's his room. But when the drugs come into play, that's when the domestic violence comes in. But he really is a good person, and I want him to stay focused on his sobriety. And that's the only time I know of his domestic violence, and it's no excuse for it by no means.
Understand.
It's when he went back into the dope.
Okay.
But
All
he
right,
has
so
to do some
And we're
I'm
all
gonna
here
see-
for him.
Thank you so much, and thank y'all for coming to be in support of him. Anybody on the panel want to speak?
Warden, you want to ask him?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I asked you, please forgive me. Warden, what would you like to say?
First of all, Ms. Stapleton, I'd like to say that when I interview inmates for parole, I
Mhm.
tell them to make an outline to go by. Because they
Well, the
usually
outline was
get-
good.
use their
Nothing
train
wrong
of
with
thought. So I do
Good
tell
job.
them to make an outline.
Okay, you did good.
Right.
And we'll come back to it if we need to, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Chris has been a trustee here. He covered his degrees in school and ASE and other things like that. He initiated as a mentor in our sober living dorm when we started it, which has been a very good success for us. We have 2 inmates who with dementia in the infirmary who need constant people with them. Chris is huge with that. Like he talked about helping them to maybe somebody would help his mom. He has been big in the church. He is affiliated with Henderson Palmer. Henderson's been really good with folks out of here. But the main thing, Chris is a housing orderly. He works at my house. And I would not have anyone that I was concerned about working around my family. And I have seen him for these last 4 years, 3.5, 4 years. And I see what he's about, and everything he said about the change that he's made, he is correct with that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for what you had to say. Okay. You can speak, Chris.
Man, and I'm glad you did that, and I appreciate that because you're right. I was reading off that list, and what it does, it seems
Well,
like
and he
it
tells
puts
you
a little-
too, that was a good thing to do too. He doesn't want you to forget anything, so just go ahead and say from your heart.
But that I know that puts a lot of makeup on an ugly situation, because the truth is, if I look back to my first time I ever remember having a domestic incident, it was probably in 2008. And, you know, I was using drugs. And what I did, I placed blame on others, and I minimized my own situation. And then I got into a habit of being in relationship with people who, you know, we got high. That's what we done. We got high and everything that came with it. And I did. I know that I'm a batterer. And the way I do it is really a scary thing, because I didn't batter, and I really what I do, I guess I trick people into thinking I'm some great person. And man, I wish I could make an amends to my victims. And I did for a long time. I thought, and this is, I know it sounds terrible, but I'm just gonna tell the truth. I felt like that's what we were supposed to be doing. And this last time I had a girlfriend, and she was a normal, regular person. She wasn't a drug addict. She didn't do any drugs. And she didn't understand what was going on when I started back getting high on hard things. And man, even before I battered her, I emotionally abused her, and I put her in a situation that was untenable, that she couldn't even win in. And I'm desperately sorry. If I was any way I could make an amend to Casey Manning today, I wish for the rest of my life, I wish that I would be able to repay what I've done. I know I can't do that. I doubt she would want me to. And I don't have all the answers to this domestic thing. I really don't, man. And I accept that I've seen it, and I accept that I grew up with it, and I accept that it's impacted me, but I know that it was me, that I could have left and walked away. I could have done anything except what I did, man. And man, I'm terribly ashamed of it. I'm absolutely ashamed of it. I've been in 3 relationships of domestic violence, and I don't know how to come out of it exactly, except to keep working towards it. I do recognize it in myself, ma'am. I do seek out counseling. I want to do anything within my power to not be a domestic abuser. And I learned a lot in the program. The program gives you some good materials, and I have applied it to myself in every way I can inside this prison setting.
Just a quick question. How long is y'all's domestic violence program? There's a 26-week program. Is that the one you took? Okay, that was.
The domestic.
Yeah, Nash. Well, Chris, you've given a good interview. You've given a thorough interview.
And thank you to the warden for the outline. So right now, if we can, we'll ask the panel if they have any questions.
Well, if you can do it briefly, Chris, I'd like for you, because you seem to like to talk a lot. And I bet some of the things you said today is probably the first time your family's ever heard you say it. Is that true?
Well, not necessarily. I think I share my recovery with them to a degree. I don't think they necessarily understand by not being around me. But
Yeah.
yes,
So at what point, because you were on supervision when this most recent domestic violence issue happened,
yes, ma'am.
that was 2022?
2020.
2020. And then you
Yes, ma'am.
say then in 3 months or so, you'll have 4 years sober. What was it that clicked to where you really started looking in the mirror?
Well, ma'am, I was in the parish jail and I was still using. I was getting high.
Right.
I had a trust position, a position of trust, and really I had a new hurt happen. I thought he was a close friend of mine. He's got a baby with my uncle's daughter. And while I was using, of course I done what all that is do. I isolated, I avoided, and he had gone through a serious medical procedures and stuff, and he died. And my cousin was telling me, she like, he didn't understand. He wanted to talk to you and stuff. And anyway, and I know they probably don't like hearing that because my grandpa died, and all the people who I really loved, the more they died and stuff. And man, I was just sitting in jail, and I felt the brokenness, and not just that, I just felt like I just was sick of being me. I was desperate. I was desperate. Really, I was angry. Is how I first started being sober. I was just angry, and I didn't have a long-term plan, and I was angry, and I was hurt, and so I began to be sober for a few days, and a week went by, and in that week I had thought about it, and I contemplated it, and I said I wasn't doing it, and I know there's no way to prove it, and I heard Rayburn was a strict place, so I allowed me to get myself shipped out here. I needed a Christian community. I felt like I wanted something different than what I was doing, and I did. God blessed me to. The head warden was different then, and the sheriff helped me to get shipped out here. And I thought this was a real strict place. And I said, man, it might help me. But anyway, in the midst of all of that, I began to be part of a Christian community. And so, my sobriety turned into my recovery.
It was a process. It was a process. There was nothing that just clicked. That's okay. That's all I needed. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, ready to vote? All right, Ms. Davis.
Okay, well, today, Mr. Reisner, you were only out 1 year when you escalated into this domestic violence situation, and the domestic violence, it had escalated. If I was looking at a lethality chart, you hit most of the buttons. The jealousy, that was in the report that you were jealous. You had a knife, which that's like a weapon, so that would be number 4 on the list. You were hitting her and said you were pulling her hair back and forth, so there was the physical part. And the stalking and terrorizing, that's on the list of lethalities that leads to homicide. And then at the top of the list, we have strangulation. And that is on the lethality list, the last thing a person's willing to do to another individual at the point of committing a homicide. So you were so dangerous at that point in killing that woman. So I want you to realize that within just a year, you went right back to that pattern. For whatever reason, if it was drugs, lots of people use drugs and then they don't do all of this. So, but you've done good other than the fact that that's a dangerous assessment that only within 1 year, that's where you headed right back to. So I'm not comfortable with granting you parole today, but I am comfortable in saying that you are on the right path, that you were honest. And please, I know that you're examining thoroughly the drug situation, but you've got a very dangerous history of domestic violence. And as far as the community is concerned, you will get another girlfriend and things will go wrong. And you have to examine that as much as possible so that is never repeated, because next time we might have a homicide victim. So
Yes,
for
ma'am.
the fact of that, but I did want to commend you on all the good things you're doing in there, because I do think this time you're on the right path. But today I am not going to grant your parole.
Thank you, ma'am. And I agree with you.
Mr. Christopher, I believe you've changed. I really believe you've changed, and the warden's comments weigh heavily on my decision that I would grant. And I hope you don't let the warden and your brother and your family down if ever you get out. So my vote today is to grant.
All
Thank you,
right, Mr. Reisner, I was very impressed with the things that the warden said. I want to thank you for your work in the infirmary. That's very important work, and not everybody can do that type of work.
That's true.
And I enjoyed hearing you talk about, you do that because you hope someone's going to be that kind to your mom, I think you said. And that's very important. I want to once again congratulate you on your sobriety. I think the plan that you've laid out, I have confidence in it, particularly after hearing what the warden spoke. My vote today would also be to grant. I would add as a special condition that you do, again, when you're out, enroll in the domestic violence prevention program, the big long 26-week program at your own expense. I think that would help you a lot. But it requires a unanimous vote. So today your parole's been denied. You're on the right path. Continue doing your community service. You're going to have another opportunity to ask for a hearing. I hope that you do so.
Yes, ma'am.
I did want to say one more thing. I do agree, and I've neglected to say, the work with people with dementia, oh my God, bless your heart for that. Thank you very much. That is a special gift to do that. But secondly, also a shout out to Washington Parish Sheriff's Office, because they gave the victim the Louisiana Victim Notice and Registration Form, and they have it in their report. And that always impresses me when I see that. So I shout out to the police department for victim services during that time. Thank you all, and good luck. You're doing good.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, we are now at Tangipahoa Parish Jail, and I believe this is Mr. Keith Hardy. Is that you, sir? Y'all are on mute. Can you or somebody unmute the microphone?
Yes, ma'am.
There you go. Can you please, sir, Mr. Hardy, just state your name for the record and tell us your DOC number.
Chief Hardy, 371055.
All right, we are here for a revocation decision this morning. Do you recall signing a parole revocation questionnaire? Yes, is that your signature at the bottom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, based on that information, Mr. Hardy, you're not eligible for us to appoint you a lawyer. So are you ready to proceed today without a lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so just so you know, we have some folks on Zoom who want to speak for you. Your wife Bridget is there and Diane Murray, your sister. So your case has been assigned to me. So first I'll read the allegations. You'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, and then we'll talk about it and we'll hear from the folks that want to speak for you before we make a decision.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so the first allegation is you violated condition number 2, and it says you failed to submit monthly reports or contact your parole officer as evidence of you absconding supervision, and a warrant was then issued in February of 25. You've had no contact with your parole officer since August of 2024. So how do you plead to violating condition number 2?
Guilty.
Now, you pled guilty to all violations at your preliminary hearing, did you not?
Yes, ma'am.
So rather than go through all this again, I'm just going to say it on the record. You maintain that guilty plea for each of them again today?
Yes, ma'am. It was all true. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, well, let me just read it into the record. So it is alleged that Mr. Hardy violated condition number 2. We've already covered that. Condition number 3, which failing to report a new address or seek permission from his parole officer. Condition number 9, the parole officer was unable to visit the residence for the same reasons previously stated. And then lastly is number 2, which deals with being behind on his parole fees.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
So tell us about it. I do see that sometime in 23, you failed and ruptured some vertebrae in your back and neck.
Yes, ma'am. From 23 to 25, I've had 4 major neck surgeries. My last surgery, which I kept up with my parole officer all the way through my 3rd surgery. When my 3rd surgery failed, a support rod broke in my neck, and it crushed C3 vertebrae, and I was back in a wheelchair. And I went into a very dark depression. I really did. I went to a dark place. I was back in a wheelchair with my wife trying to help me. She lost her job. We ended up homeless for a little while. But thanks to God and my wife, I got into counseling. I went through the MAT program with Bart's in Hammond. We fought a DCFS case and regained custody of our son in January of this year. I understand that I made a mistake by not reporting to my parole officer. I understand that was my fault. As far as the payments and stuff, I hadn't been able to work since my first surgery in 23.
I understand. So I do see, and it was in 24 when you got married. We're going to hear from her in just a minute. But you got addicted to your pain medication, which is why you did the MAT program?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, over the course of the 4 surgeries, the pain medication was always there, but it did become a problem. That's why I went to the MAT program. And, the counseling was for the depression and trying to get my life back together. I know that I didn't report, but I never left the parish. I never left the city. I never fought new charges.
I get that, and I know that you had some difficulties, but Mr. Hardy, you're a 4th offender. You know that it's important for us to know where you're at, and I understand, the surgeries and all of that, but you could have made contact parole officer. I do believe they were aware of all your medical issues. The record reflects that. So I tell you what, let me, before you and I continue our conversation, you've been in jail since March of this year.
March 11th, yes, ma'am.
So let's hear from Mrs. Hardy. Miss Bridget, what do you want to tell us?
Good morning.
Morning.
I just wanted to speak on behalf of my husband because these past 2 years that we've been together and he's gone through his surgeries and stuff like that, he has, I just want you guys to know he has been through a lot. We've been through a lot, losing our baby, losing the home we lived in and stuff like that. And I could tell you guys like the difference that I seen my husband. Like he went from a happy-go-lucky man to just being miserable. Like he didn't get out of the chair. Like he couldn't do anything. And I just seen him go downhill. And, you know, he's been trying his best to get his life together and get things back right. I did want to let you guys know he does have a new updated address though. His niece, I moved back to, I moved to his sister's house. And his niece had given us a trailer. She got a brand new trailer and she gave us a trailer to live in so she could, I work 12-hour shifts every day. But he needs physical therapy. I needed help with the baby since he's not home. And his sister and his niece have provided us with a home and everything to where we won't lose our son again because our case plan just got closed May 19th, actually.
So y'all got the baby back?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Thank you.
All right. So what about his sister, Miss Murray? I guess that's who you're speaking of.
Yes, I have her and his niece here with me right now.
So we'd like to hear from Diane.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Morning. What would you like to say to us?
Okay, I had wrote it down.
Good.
My name is Diane Murray, and I'm speaking on behalf of my brother Keith Hardy. Keith has endured significant medical hardships. All the surgeries that he's had, I mean, he went from being a active man to being in a wheelchair. And that's something hard to do because mine was, I got COVID. And so I'm on oxygen now. So it's hard to, go from being able to do something to where you can't. And that really messes with you a lot. And it did him. He really got depressed and he fought with that a lot. But just the surgeries in itself was bad enough. But I mean, he didn't want to be how he was anymore. He didn't want to live like he was. So he's changed his life. And he was really, really doing good and changing it and being a better person. And I just, if y'all would see to him, I think, he deserves another chance at it. He was really, like I said, he was really doing good. And my daughter here, Ashley, can attest to all the surgeries.
I'm the one who, from his first surgery, brought him to every surgery and every doctor's appointment. And I mean, his first one, he was in a wheelchair and I had to push him up. He couldn't walk. And we finally found the doctor who was able to help him with the surgery. And like he said, each surgery was it got worse. And then having to have another one. This one that just recently he had, coming up on a year, they had to go through his neck because of the support rod. And I mean, it's just each one, like the doctor said, is extensive physical therapy. And, it takes a while and we've been trying to help him with that. That's why I said I offered to take him to it. That's why I gave him a place to stay to where he wouldn't have to worry about losing his house, even though his wife was the only one working because he's not able to, because he's always been the one, moving and working and trying to do for everybody. And then when that happened and he wasn't able to even walk, it took a big toll on him and it really made him, depressed. And it was a big change. It was at a really dark place at that time, but being here, he's around family because Bridget works, and that's why I said they can come stay here to where I can help take him to physical therapy, and he's by my mom, his sister, to where he'll have the support he needs to get where he's going, and it's a permanent address that he won't have to worry about being anywhere else.
And to keep on.
And where we'll be here to stay on him and make sure he has, you know, the help and the support he needs to do what he needs to do, not only by y'all, but as far as his recovery with his surgeries.
All right, well, thank you. We appreciate hearing from you. Mr. Hardy,
Yes, ma'am.
tell us about your sobriety plan.
Like I said, I was into the MAT program. I was clean from April of 25 all the way until today. I'm still clean. I passed all my drug tests. Even when I was brought here, I was given a drug test here and passed.
Okay. So how is your health today?
I mean, I hadn't been doing no physical therapy or nothing since I've been here. I have very limited movement of my head. I have severe neuropathy. My feet still go numb. I got an appointment with my surgeon in July. If I'm allowed out, I got to go see him and do another MRI and see if the rods is fusing to the bones and stuff like that.
Going on. So are you on disability?
I filed for it. It's been a year since I filed. I still hadn't received it yet, but I've been in here for 3 months. I sent my the last paperwork that they sent me, I sent off in February, and I hadn't heard back. But I'm trying to get my disability. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, well, I hope you're successful there. Or any other questions?
Yeah, I'd like to, what are you going to do about if released? Are you going to stay in touch with your parole officers?
Yes, sir. I've been in touch with this parole officer I have now, Mr. Joshua Varnado. I've seen him more since I've been arrested than I've seen any of my other ones. And he already knows my residence. He already has my phone number, my wife's phone number. We've been in contact with him throughout my whole stint here in Tangipahoa Parish Jail leading up to this. You know, he told me he wasn't going to recommend revocation, but he also said that he wouldn't be at the hearing today. So I can't really speak for him. All I can say is what he told me.
So you personally are gonna stay in touch with him?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Often.
I will call him every week if that's
Okay.
what.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
No, I don't have any questions, sir.
All right, Mr. Hardy, I think we're prepared to vote. I'll vote first. I do also find you guilty of all the violations because you pled guilty to them. I do recognize the mitigating circumstances. I'm glad you were able to get the medically assisted treatment. My vote today is not to revoke you, but I will add the special condition that you must contact Mr. Varnado weekly for at least the first 60 days after release, and then he'll tell you how often you need to check in with him. It's not on him to check in with you. You have to do it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Mr. Tiller?
My vote is also do not revoke and with the same conditions.
He's a statement.
I concur.
All right, there you go. Good luck to you. I wish you well.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Hawkins. You're on mute. Do you know how to unmute the microphone? Or ask somebody to do it? Yeah, you're gonna have to ask them because I can't hear you.
Okay, give me 1 second.
There, I got you now.
Lou,
Wait.
she said come on mute.
Back. Come back, I hear you.
All right, she said she can hear me.
Yeah, I got you now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
How y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm okay.
Mr. Hawkins, introduce yourself, please, sir. Tell us your name and DOC number.
DEMARCO HAWKINS, 374720.
All right, thank you, sir. And you have a lawyer here today. Mr. Massey, would you introduce yourself for the record?
Yes, Your Honor. Logan Massey, representing Mr. Hawkins.
Yes, sir. And we have Ms. Thomasina Bailey, your wife. She
Yes,
wants to
ma'am.
speak on behalf too. So first, I'm going to just read the allegations against you. You can tell me about it if you'd like, or I'll just hear from your lawyer and wife, because I have a pretty good idea what happened and what's going on. But you do have to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty in terms of your parole conditions. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
So let me read it, and you're going to enter your plea of guilty or not guilty. So you're accused of violating condition number 4, and that says you engaged in criminal activity as evidenced by your arrest April 3rd, 2026 by the sheriff's office for the charge of domestic abuse battery. You did plead guilty to an amended charge of disturbing the peace by fighting. So how do you plead to violating condition number 4?
Not guilty. I don't want to explain what my side.
Okay, well, let's
Hold on,
wait, Mr. Massey, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Hawkins, just we'll kind of get to that in a minute. Just let them ask you questions shortly.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
So I do see, Mr. Massey, that this happened in April, and your wife has provided some information that indicates that you were not taking your mental health medication like you were supposed to.
That was the whole plan. She would call the people so they could take me to the hospital so I can get back on my med. Because when I'm not on my med, she gets scared that I'm gonna do or something. When that's not the case. So she called the people trying to get them to take me to the hospital so I can get my med. They brought me to jail and put domestic abuse on me.
Right. So you just didn't have your meds at the time?
No, man, I didn't have my med. She was trying to get them to take me to Trinity to the medical center like they normally do. So the officers that came don't know this. They brought me to jail.
Right. Okay. Well, let me hear from her. Ms. Bailey, would you speak to us? What do you want us to know?
Good morning. Listen, so when he's not on his medication, he be very erratic. What I want them to do is get him some help to be able to get on the shots. I think if he takes the shots, it would be much better because it'll be like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. That way, because I'm working, like now, I'm at work in Illinois. I work out of town. So I'm not always there to make sure he can get his meds and remind him of it. Because the mental status that's going on, it's not helping at all. Because he's not thinking, I got to take my meds. I need to take my meds. I got to have my meds now. If I'm there, I always make sure he's taking his medication. But I can't be with him 24/7. Now, my company will allow him to come on the road with me, but because he's on parole, he can't leave the state.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I tell you, the issue of when he gets his medication and how it's administered is really up to his physician. So let's hear from Mr. Massey. What can you shed light on for us?
Your Honor, basically, Mr. Hawkins is not. He's not actively engaging in criminal activity. I know it's he was arrested for a charge. He obviously has some mental issues that are complicating his behavior. I do not think that they're revoking him on parole is the appropriate way to go about this with him. He does, I believe he does need some kind of inpatient treatment that and it may be a thing where they're going to have to do this at home and try to get him on the shots through Medicaid or whatever they have. But it's clear that the victim here was not intending to have Mr. Hawkins arrested, this isn't an ongoing thing where he's just out there engaging in criminal activity. It's literally a symptom of an illness, and he is getting help. It's just because of the nature of her job and moving from place to place with work that he gets off his medication. And I've had some time to speak with Mr. Hawkins. He's a great individual. He when he's on his medication, he's as cool and calm, and I like him. He's easy to talk to, but there is the issue of the medication and what happens whenever he gets off of it. From my standpoint, I don't believe that he needs to be revoked of parole unless that revocation is somehow going to lead to him getting mental health assistance, not so much incarceration. I just don't think that incarceration is in any way going to help this situation, and I don't believe that he needs to be incarcerated over basically what amounts to a mental health episode that occurred, and the victim herself is basically saying, this is not what I intended. I wasn't trying to get him arrested. We had a disagreement. I needed him on his medication. We tried to work it out, and here we are. So that's just kind of the standpoint of the defense on this.
Okay, well, thank you, sir. So, Mr. Hawkins, let me ask you.
Yes, ma'am.
Before this all happened, you are seeing a doctor for your medicine?
Yes, ma'am. I've been seeing a doctor pretty much all my life. I've been a mental patient. I've been inside mental hospitals. I've been
Right.
my wife had me checked into a hospital in Alexandria, Louisiana for like 7 days. And the doctor seen that when I get on my meds, I'll be right. So the doctor released me. Said if I ever need any more help, he sent me to some outpatient clinics and stuff. I've been going to them as well. But when my medicine run out, it's like my mind just is taking its own
So
turn.
let me ask you this. So when your medicine runs out, you don't go back and get more?
I tried to when I got the money to pay for it. I mean, it's hard. It's hard.
Do you have Medicaid?
I mean, it had ended, and they was trying to switch me over to something different. But before that happened, the
Right.
medicine went out.
Okay. Yeah.
Ms. Bailey, is it possible, are you trying now to get him shots for his medicine?
I am. I have actually been trying to speak with a lot of different people. I'm a case manager for home health. So what happens when I'm traveling around and about, I do know some people that are in Dallas, Texas that are great people, great psychiatrists and stuff like that. But I don't know if Louisiana, you guys would allow him to see the doctors and the psychiatrists and the therapists out there that can keep him regulated. He doesn't necessarily have to go in. He can actually do a Zoom visit with them. So
that's what I was going to suggest. If you have y'all talked to his PO officer and maybe get him where he can go there?
Okay, I have asked her. So let me tell you this. I've talked to Sarah. I've called her. A lot of times she does not respond. So I have to call down there in Baton Rouge. I've been speaking with this young lady named Carla that is down there at the parole board. And she's been telling me what I need to do. And so I was talking to Sarah, which is the parole officer. It's like, it's just whatever, and she said she was afraid to be in the room with him. I said, well, that's because he's off his meds. That's why I'm asking you to help me, to help him. She said, well, what do you want me to do? I said, well, I want you to get him some help.
Well, what about his medical coverage that he was speaking of, the Medicaid or whatever?
Some of it is very expensive when it is not being covered by Medicaid. They give him certain medications, and some of them be like maybe like the Haradol. It's like $468, but they only give him maybe 18 to 20 of them. So it's very expensive. And I try to make him half of them instead of taking the whole thing.
Well, that may be a problem too.
He also has,
let me tell you,
he's got the Haradol.
So let me tell you this. And you know, I agree that Mr. Hawkins needs some assistance to get his medication regulated. And I think
yes, ma'am.
I can't do that except if I do it within the DOC.
No, ma'am.
So
I'm not trying to go to DOC. I can go to outpatient. I can go check myself.
I can't do that because we can help you better with your medication and getting you regulated so that you can go then, you know, go to the outpatient clinic, because that's going to be a requirement too.
What I'm saying, am I
gonna have to do outpatient treatment because you need it.
I'm saying, am I gonna have to be in prison to do this?
Well, you'll be in a mental health ward.
All right. Well, as long as don't, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to go.
Okay, be quiet. Red, be quiet a minute. Ma'am, so this is what I would like to do, if it's okay with you guys. If there's a way that you guys could allow him when I have to go out of town and you guys could do the paperwork, allow him to come with me so that I would be able to make sure that the meds are being regulated like they're supposed to. Because I can do that. I just don't know. I can't keep them regulated like they need to be if I'm not there. Because he'll take his med. As long as he's got them, he will take them. He does that. But if he runs out of the meds and can't get to where to go back to the doctor, then I need him to be with me so that I will be able to get him there.
Now, I don't think that traveling around the country is going to be an option for him. My main concern is getting him regulated on his meds, maybe even, what you're asking for. I don't know. I'm not a mental health professional, so I can't say what he needs. But to do that, I would need to send him to the mental health unit at the Department of Corrections just for the purpose of regulating his medicine and getting him set up for whatever services he needs on the outside.
Well, he has the services in Faraday, Louisiana, which is the behavioral health center. That's
not if he runs out of his medication.
No.
Yeah, if he runs.
They don't run out of the medicine. I run out and don't have no money to go buy the medicine for them. But they have the medicine.
That's what I know that.
Yes, ma'am.
They ran out.
And see, that's what happened. His meds, I was coming when I left and I came back, he was out of his meds. So this job pays me way much better than just sitting in a 9-to-5 office. So I've been able to keep up with them so that he will be able to get them if he needs them. But I need him to be able to take them when he's supposed to. So I feel like if he gets the shots will be 100% better.
I can't speak to that. That's not my area. Go ahead.
Can you afford the medicine that he's taking, the pills can you afford it?
Oh yes, I can afford that. I mean, if I need to send you a check stub or something or whatever, I can do that as well.
What I was thinking is that if he's with you and he runs or is nearing completing his medicine, you can purchase it so he can stay stable. I think that's what you're asking.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, that's why I was saying if he could be with you, if you got with your parole officer and they allowed you to take him with you, then that would probably solve a lot of problems.
And I don't think they stay.
The parole officer told me that I could go. The parole officer told me he'd give me a pass to go, but we just never left because her job didn't start when she told me she'd give me the pass. Her job didn't start then, but now she got the job. They're willing to give me the pass to go. The parole officer willing to give me the pass to go. She told me she'd do that.
And I'm also trying to get him hired
Let me,
You guys
I'll
are-
move for executive session so we can discuss confidential matters.
I
Oh,
second.
okay.
Call the roll.
Tillis,
Yes.
Renassa,
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Hawkins, Mr. Massey, we're in executive session for a few moments to discuss confidential matters.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
They're gonna make a decision.
Think be good.
Yeah, I think they're gonna, send me to a hospital. The woman wants to send me to the hospital inside the DLC, but my wife and me not trying to do that.
All right, Mr. Hawkins, we're back in regular session without objection. It's 11:30 a.m. Yours is a very complicated case. I think you need help. I look at your history. You're classified as a sixth offender. I do agree with your attorney that, no, I don't think you need to be revoked for not taking your medicine, but I do think you do need some help in figuring out the resources that you do need And I can't do that on the outside. And so, as I mentioned earlier, my vote today will be in lieu of revocation for you to have a DOC mental health and substance abuse evaluation, get your medication regulated, and whatever resources you need to be connected to get all your issues straight so you don't run out of the medication, whatever medication is prescribed to you. And then once that occurs, release you. Mr. Tillis?
I concur with I concur with Ms. Renata.
Mrs. Stapleton?
And I concur.
Mr. Massey, do you understand what we did?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I keep saying Your Honor. I'm in court actually in between now.
Yes. So we'll send him, it's at Hunt Correctional Center. They have the mental health unit and they'll get him regulated to be sure that and whatever access to resources he may need in his area.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
So I'm not understanding. So
Miss Bailey, I'll call you. I'll call or
All right, Committee on Parole is now at West Baton Rouge Parish Prison. Today is June 4th, 2026. It's 11:40 a.m. And I believe this is Mr. Albert Collins. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good, thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there.
Good. So, sir, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
My name is Albert Collins, DOC number 501002.
All right, sir. And do you have any paperwork there with you? I'm looking for the parole revocation questionnaire.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
have that? And
Yes,
is that
ma'am.
your signature at the bottom of that page?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so based on the information on that form, you're not eligible for us to appoint you a lawyer today. So are you ready to proceed this morning without a lawyer?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, well, let me just acknowledge we have somebody here who wants to speak. We'll talk to Miss Charlene Sorrell. At the appropriate time, we'll ask for her comments, but your case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis, seated to my left. Would you answer his questions?
Yes, ma'am.
How are you today, Mr. Collins?
I'm okay. How you doing?
Good. I'm going to read some violations, and you can answer guilty, not guilty, or with a statement.
Yes, ma'am. Just serve me.
That's okay. I answer either one. Number 4, on 9/23/25, you were involved in criminal activities in the commission of the offense of domestic abuse battery, home invasion, and child endangerment in West Baton Rouge Parish. You were arrested by the West Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office. You were billed for the offense of home invasion and domestic abuse battery with child endangerment. The charges were amended from home invasion to domestic abuse battery with child endangerment. The simple battery of 2/4/26, the court found the defendant guilty of simple battery. The defendant was sentenced to serve 6 months in the parish jail with credit for some time served. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or with a statement?
I plead guilty with a statement.
Okay, tell us about it.
I don't really feel like I was guilty of the crime, even though I was found guilty. That's why I ended up going to trial, because I never put my hands on Miss Sorrell. It was really a whole different type of misaltercation.
Tell us what happened.
What happened was, all right, me and Miss Sorrell was staying together. I lived at the house. I'm on the lease for the house. I went to work. Well, I had 2 jobs. I went to work at one job, went to work at the second job. When I got off, I went to my mother's house because at the time my mother was sick with cancer. So I go and I look after my mother after work for a little while. I was supposed to be coming home that night, where me and Miss Sorrell stayed, but I ended up falling asleep at my mother's house. So I assumed by me falling asleep at my mother's house that Miss Sorrell figured that I wasn't coming home that night. But I woke up around 10:30, 11:30, and I came home. When I came home, I knocked on the door. Miss Sorrell was laying in the bed as if she was asleep. I could see like through the window where the bed is at, it got a window right next to the door because we had our bed in the front room. So I knocked on the door. I didn't get no answer. I waited for a minute, knocked again. I ain't getting no answer. So then that's when I realized, remember, I had left a window open. So I went in through the window, which of my own house, went around. When I got to the front, I encountered Miss Sorrell and Mr. Tillman laying in the bed together. I stood on top of the bed and I did attack Mr. Tillman, but I never put my hands on Miss Sorrell.
Mr. Tillman was a guy?
Mr. Tillman was a guy, not only a guy, a friend of mine. They had just met like the day before. He came to the house for me. She had just told me he came to the house for me.
I was reading her, anyway, you didn't have a key?
I had a key, but I left it at my mother's house. I still actually have that key at my mother's house. But I'm on the lease and everything. I have the right to be there.
Okay.
That's why the home invasion was dropped.
I got you. I got you. Any colleagues have any questions on violation number 4?
I do. Well, no, not violation number 13. We'll get 13.
Okay.
I've got a question.
All right. Violation number 10. You have an arrear in the amount of $2,484 and $65 processing fee. How do you plead?
I plead guilty also with a statement on that.
Okay.
At that time, like I said, I was working 2 jobs, but my mother was dying with cancer and my stepdad had just got hurt and laid off his job. I was the only source of employment for everybody. So this has been one of the roughest years of my life. I was really trying to take care of everything and I just fell behind. But with given the chance, I'll be able to get that back right and get that together.
Okay. Violation number 13, special conditions. You failed to complete a, say what?
No.
Oh, you failed to complete a domestic violence program. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or with the statement?
Also, guilty with the statement. I failed to complete it, but I was currently taking it. I've taken like 18 classes and had like 8 left. It's like 26 classes. And I just got behind. But I took the majority of the classes, but I did in the time allowed it. I should have been able to finish it, but like I was saying, I had a lot going on, working 2 jobs and the only source of employment. My mother had cancer. I just was behind. I never got all the way finished with them, but I was taking the classes.
Okay, how after you stopped taking them, how long was it in between that you had stopped taking?
I hadn't, to be honest, I hadn't took them in like 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah.
Did you to a parole officer?
I had talked to her. She knew that the hardships that I was going through.
She did?
Yeah, she knew the hardships that I was going through.
Carolyn?
Okay. Well, they have in the notes here that this person, you parole officer kept continually asking you about the domestic violence classes and you kept putting her off and everything. But on 4/26/24, that you were supposed to also be on electronic monitoring and that the unit wasn't charged.
I was ordered for wear electronic monitoring for 6 months and I wore it for over a year.
Right. Well, then we come down to another where she explained to you that 6 months had to do with, let's see, to report to P&P weekly for 6 days, 60 days, electronic monitoring and no contact with the victim. So she says in her report that there was no time frame for you to have no contact with your victim or the electronic monitor, but definitely it was a no contact order with your victim. So why were you even going over there?
With the electronic monitoring, I wore it the appropriate amount of time. I did check in every week. And far as having no contact with my victim, I was in love with the woman and I felt vulnerable. During the time when my mother first got sick, she went to the hospital. She had to get a colostomy bag. At that time, Miss Sorrell came to the hospital checking on my mom, and that's how we ended up reconnecting. After my mom got out, she would come help my mom, feed her, bath her, stuff like that, and one thing led to another. I take full responsibility with that. I was not supposed to get back with Miss Sorrell. If I wouldn't have, I wouldn't have been in this position right now. And that is definitely where I made a mistake at, and I can own up to that. But I loved her and I felt vulnerable.
Well, did you feel jealous also?
I mean, when you're in love, you are jealous of people, but at the time of this incident, I was completely blindsided. I never thought that I would walk up on such a thing. But like I say, I did not put my hands on her though.
Any other questions? Okay. Something more now. Oh, I'm sorry. Now we're gonna hear from Miss Sorrell. Real. How you doing?
Miss Rowe?
Hey, everyone.
Yes, she does.
Fine, how are you?
I'm fine.
What would you like to tell us about this situation?
He is right on the part about his mother being sick that I was coming back and forth. But part of her being sick, she had asked me, could he come back and forth to the house because he wasn't supposed to be at the trailer. So I was like, okay, against my better judgment, I'm gonna go ahead and let him come back and forth so he could come see you at the hospital because his closest job was at Bryan's. And he was working at McDonald's and Bryan's. So I told him, I said, we're not together, but you can come back and forth for your mother or whatever like that because it's closest to going across the bridge. And so that was the agreement. January, when he found out I had a tattoo on my chest and I didn't get the one that he wanted, he ended up jumping on me. So I was like, look, we cannot be together. Leave me alone. Do not come back. We cannot be around each other because it seems like anything I do is a problem. So he had left and he had ended up, yes, he did call me that night and message me or what have you, but I ignored his phone calls and I ignored his messages because I didn't want anything else to do with them. Mind you, in August of that year, he ended up taking my money, my kids' school supply money and everything else and running off with it to work. I ended up walking from out of my residence, going across the intercoastal to his job to get my money. That's what the first incident was, besides the one that was in Addis, down on trailer 15. It's been multiple incidents way before this incident. I ended up dropping charges and everything because yes, I was in love with him. And y'all probably see that on the paperwork that y'all have in front of y'all that I did drop charges at one point. But it's like every time I try to get away from him, he'll just come back. Or he'll try to vex some kind of way or manipulate a situation to where he's back in my life. The situation with the house on Court Street, he was not supposed to be back. He ended up, yes, knocking on the door. We did not answer. He came around into the house through the window. He ended up fighting with me and Mr. Tillman. He hit me first. That's when I rose up. He started swinging on me. Then Mr. Tillman was in the corner of the bed. He ended up getting up, and that's when they started fighting. Whenever he came off the bed, he stepped on my daughter. They proceeded from where it used to be the living room. Now, at that point, was my room. They went from there to the kitchen. They broke the oven, and then he tried to. Mr. Collins took a pot that had grease in it, and it was warm, trying to throw it on Mr. Tillman. The next day that we tried to come back, the deadbolt lock that was on the door fell off in the hand. So I couldn't even go back to that red.
Froze up for a second. I think we're getting good enough. Oh, shoot.
I did
There you
approach Mr. Collins and tried to tell him for him to stay away from me and Mr. Tillman, that everything is done with. I don't want anything to do with him. Stay away from us. I even bought him groceries that day, trying to make an alliance with him and everything. That was the last time we talked. I think a couple of days to a week later, that's when he got arrested.
Okay.
But we did make that agreement that he would stay away from me and Mr. Tillman, regardless of what it is. And I would like to have an actual order saying that he'll stay away at least 1,000 feet from us. Because he has sent my pictures to other people through the Facebook, my nude pictures and my videos. And I'm not sure, but I think he orchestrated a situation with Mr. Tillman going to jail, having an argument with Charlene Lockheed, because they all know each other.
Well, you need to get with the sheriff's office or the DA's office with what you're just talking about to get a protective order, because they can help you with that. And the domestic violence shelter in your area. They'll help you with
Domestic
it.
violence.
Yes, and they have one in East Bay. Look up domestic violence and then you'll find out that they'll give you a 1-800 number if nothing else. And that'll let you know the shelter that's in your area and they can help with protective orders. I know Baton Rouge has one, East Baton Rouge Parish is Iris. And so they can help you with some of this stuff and help you walk this path, okay? But I did see back in 2022, there was a strangulation, also domestic violence with strangulation. So
That was the first one.
that was the first one. Okay, so everything is escalating, so you know you need to stay away from him. And you need to take the proper steps for safety on your part, okay? So it was very brave of you to speak today. Most people can't do that. They're too frightened. So it's good to hear from you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Ready to vote?
No, I don't have any, no.
Can I,
Wait, we're voting now. We're
oh,
ready
all
to,
right.
go ahead, Mr. Tillis.
Mr. Collins, my vote is going to be to revoke for rules number 4 and number 13.
And I concur, Mr. Chillins.
My vote today also, Mr. Collins, is to vote for violating rule number 4 and rule number 13. So today, sir, your vote is being revoked.